for being least affected by time. Very much.
For having the oldest child.
Shannon? Shannon? She must be a minute ago. Well, she's here. Eldon Miller. For breaker and enforcer of the law. Sandra Johnson Regis. For longest attendance at SMA.
Sandra Facian Guillory, having little to say but known by all. Sandra. I'm not going to say a thing.
Agnes Brown Joseph, for having the motor that never quit. That's your mom we're talking about.
Sandra Frederick Molina, for being the smallest Maryite in our class. Look at her, she's so disgusted.
Elizabeth Francois, for the most consistent smile.
Artelia Davis Harrington, for staying as sweet as she always was.
To Paula Merrill, still having vision. All right.
Kathleen Rock Piku Simmons, for having the longest name.
Marlene Jupiter Cabal, for the most contagious laugh.
Gonna laugh.
Don't
Come on, Marlene, give us a laugh. Okay. To Lydia Martin, who never had a bad thing to say about anyone, because she never said it. Leetta Allen Haynes, for having the smallest mouth and the most to say.
We have
a few
two
that are not here.
certificates for persons who are not here. Both Christine King Chatters and Noreen Boudreaux Taylor for always managing to slip through the net.
Yes. Veronica Robertson St. Morton, seeing through the fog and still finding her way.
I'd like to say hello to Sister Marie Fidelia. Sister Marie Fidelia not only taught me at St. Mary, she taught me at St. Paul's School, and she had a particular way of teaching. She taught Bernadette and I at St. Paul's School. And what you didn't learn up here, you got it back here. It's reinforced. Hi, Sister. She snuck us in on us just now. When we first got together, everyone started remembering so many things. And a lot of people remember things that other people didn't remember. We spent hours talking about what we were going to mention today and what we thought other people would prefer that we not remember. And after a year, we came to some consensus. But all of us remembered two particular years. We all focused in on one thing in our junior year, and that was the activities surrounding the junior senior prom at the ILA. Like Diane and Gail mentioned before, we were the first to go to the ILA. Prior to that, the proms had been at St. Peter Claver. And we all kind of circled around our junior class moderator and coerced her into working along with us to raise money to have the prom. We sold hand suckers for a nickel, fudge for a dime, hot dogs for 50 cents. Oh, the hot dogs. Y'all remember those hot dogs? You can best remember the person I'm getting ready to talk about if you ever sold those hot dogs. Put some more water in that pot, girl. You're giving them all that chili on one hot dog. Boy, this person could stretch a stick of chili. 80 hot dogs and one stick of chili. This teacher taught us how to get a $10 return on a 69-cent investment. Talk about putting out hot dogs. We were the #1 hot dog chili fixer at St. Mary's or any place. You could see the weenie and feel the bun, but you had to smell the chili and remember. This is Joseph Andrews. Sister Joseph Angela taught us for 4 years. I'm sure sometimes she thought we weren't learning. One of the main things she tried to instill in us, and especially me, was to think before I act. She had it wrong. You think about what you've done. Try to figure out why nobody likes what you did. But all of that paid off, and now when we think about all the things that people try to instill on us, we all zero in on Sister Joseph Angela. She was #1 with us then, and she's still #1 with us. No matter what we remember, who we remember, and how long we try to remember, we can never come up with anything that happened around St. Mary's that didn't somehow start from Sister Joseph Angela or get back to her. If you were in trouble and nobody wanted to hear your version of it, Sister Joseph Angela would listen. She might tell you you were wrong, but she'd listen to your version of it. Sister Joseph Angela, you're still #1 with us. All those years. Moving along down memory lane. Who remembers September 1962, first day of school, senior year?
Yeah, you know.
Diane already mentioned that our class has the credit for doing some firsts. But she didn't go into the facts, any details about the fact that our class is the first class under the principalship of Sister Mary Dimitri. Yeah. On the first day of school, the bell rang and we all anxiously lined up to find out what was what. We heard we were going to get a new principal, that somebody's mama remembered her from when she was at St. Mary's before, and somebody told us, you know, she was pretty rough, but we knew she didn't have any stuff for us. She walked out onto the porch and rang the bell, and it was all over. From that point on, she became known to us, called by us behind our back, Big D. Now, Gail Dyer, Ursula Oslo, and myself were the tallest ones in the class, the Wanda Bay had. We still called her Big D. Thought she was so high, so white. She was all over the place. Sister Demetria knew what you did before you did it. She knew what you thought. She knew what went on in St. Mary's, away from St. Mary's. And she usually came up with a plan to stop you before you got your plan to do it together. She zeroed in on a particular group. Now, to me at the time, I kind of thought she did it wrong. You know, I think the new kid on the block ought to start at the bottom and work her way up. Not Big D. She came in and started at the top and moved us all down. We were more down and out than in and on. I guess it worked. Like I said, she started at the top. She started with the seniors. She had a particular way of saying that word, and I've been trying for weeks to say it like she did. I still get that chill up my back when I try. We'd gather every morning. She'd ring the bell, and we'd gather in the yard, and she'd make her announcement. She'd say her prayers, and we'd be shoo-shooing about what was on TV last night, who was going with who, and who wasn't, who didn't have a boyfriend, and all of that. And then when everything was over, one word: seniors! Oh, God. Remain on the yard. A few times the message was pleasant. A few. Most times it was not. You see, Sister had an idea. She wanted to make us young ladies. And when she got there, we were about the business of being women. The two didn't go together. Nothing she did was in keeping with the things we had been doing. She broke with one of our oldest traditions. Anybody remember the beanie? Now, you always had to wear a beanie at St. Mary's, and you were in trouble if you didn't have it. Well, we had a habit. We cut the beanie in half, and whoever didn't have one could have a half of ours. You think Sister Josvanga could raise money? Sister Demetria made you buy a beanie. A whole beanie. No more putting a half a beanie on your head. You had to wear the whole thing on your head. At 50 cents a hit, this can be expensive, but Conrad was still 7 cents, and my daddy gave me 3 nickels, and I had to have that penny that evening. And Sister wanted 50 cents for a beanie every time you didn't have one. That's just one of the minor things she did. I can remember many, and for the sake of putting it nicely and looking back, I want Father Bukri to know that I am happy tonight, because I have forgiven, and I hope everybody forgives me. I'll call those sessions I had with Sister Demetria disciplinary sessions on character building. You build mine. I can remember when she told me, Leetta, I can be as good as gold, but don't cross me. Whew. She could be as good as gold, all right. She was hard as a brick, too. She would not budge. Sister, I want you to have your brick of gold. I think we had put on it 2 Big D from the class of 63. Like I said before, Sister Demetria seems to have known everything. You remember when she got the word about a dance that another school gave on the Christmas vacation, and the first day of the new year we lined up, singing?